قل إنما أمرت أن أعبد الله ولا أشرك به إليه أدعو وإليه مآب.
We're not happy, what do? Like, for example, if I eat a lot of chocolate, I'm happy. But eating too much chocolate can make me unhappy. You understand what I'm saying? So what we're saying is that happiness is not the end of the world, right? You're happy for a little while, and then when let's say you have a new car, you get happy. When the car gets old, then you're unhappy. You understand? Happiness is just a temporary stage. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the end goal, it's just the means. Do you understand? We believe in Islam that we're here to worship God. And that worship is how we live, how we act, how we take care of each other, how we take care of our neighbors. This is all part of worship, right? So this is our reason of existence, is to worship God. It's not just to be happy. You understand? So, yeah. So this is what we mean. And we say that the Quran has been sent to mankind to teach people how to live here, because we need some kind of guide, right? And that guide teaches us what's right and wrong. And that's how we know what is right and wrong. You understand? From the teachings from God who sent us the Quran. You get my point? God is the infinite. For example, God says, Qul huwallahu ahad. Say God is one and He's uniquely one. Means I may have one booklet, but there's one many booklets. So He's uniquely one. Allahu samad. He's infinite, He's not finite, He's self-sufficient. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He did not beget anyone and nothing begetted. Means He doesn't have a father, He doesn't have a brother, He doesn't have an uncle, He doesn't have an auntie, He doesn't have daughters and sons.
Maybe a dog though.
No, he may have created everything, but He doesn't have anything.
I know.
He doesn't need anything. You understand?
I would get a dog.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, since you brought up dog. Let me just finish that, I want to go back to the dog in a minute.
Yeah.
So we believe, so Qul huwallahu ahad Allahu samad lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. What we're saying is, there's nothing like unto the Creator. Whatever our conceptual mind can come up with, this is not God.
For sure.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Do you believe in that?
I do, yeah.
So this is a belief of a Muslim, okay? So let me explain. We believe that this Creator did not leave us astray. He sent us guidance.
Apophatic way.
Yeah.
So it's the negation of what God is not.
Exactly.
You can't say what God is, you say what God is not.
Exactly. That's in Islam, we say in the Arabic language, there's a saying.
You don't go through trauma, you don't go through hardships for no reason.
Yeah, you make light come from even that.
Exactly, right? Because a lot of people, they go through a hardship and they completely negate any higher power because, like, if I'm going through a tough time, there is nobody watching over me. But our perspective is that if you are going through a hard time, it could be a test for you.
For sure.
Because everything is a test. It is...
I believe even the darkness is a blessing.
Exactly, right? If you have to show that patience, and then you have to acknowledge...
You don't see it in the moment, but in hindsight.
In hindsight too, right? But it's good to have that perspective even while you're going through.
Yeah, that's tougher when there's a lot of pain.
Exactly. For a lot, yes. No, yeah. Exactly, right? And that's where a lot of people fall astray, where it gets too much and then they're just like, forget it all. I am done with anything and everything associated with this. And we see that a lot, and that just drives that person further and further into the darkness. And it takes a lot. Like you, for example, it took you a lot to have yourself, recognize what the issue is, pull yourself out of it.
For sure.
And then, bring yourself up like that. But yeah, at the end of it, it's just acknowledging that, everything that is suffering and whatever it comes your way, there's still a higher power that's watching over you.
Yeah, for sure, I believe that.
As long as you have your patience and perseverance, at the end of the day, you will get the rewards for whatever you need to get to. And for example, you read a lot of Rumi, right? Like those are inspirations drawn from...
I've read all spiritual traditions.
Fair. Like it's all from that realization and that connection to the Creator, where you're like...
But one of the things I want to just add, if you don't mind, is it okay if I just add something?
Yeah.
We believe truth is singular, it's not plural, right? Like for example, we can't say that believing God is a cow and then He's infinite at the same time. This is a contradiction.
For sure.
So truth is singular. There only has to be one truth, because otherwise everything is conflicting. You understand?
But even God, you can't grasp that truth.
Agree.
It's a truth that you cannot grasp.
Agree. But God, the reason if we say God is all powerful, because the word God means all powerful, yes? If he's all powerful, all knowing, and all wise, if we make that claim, he's all knowing because we have knowledge in the universe. We have power in the universe, right? If we make that claim that this God is not an absent landlord as well, do you understand? Means that he has to guide us. We need guidance. Like when I came to Sudbury from Toronto, I don't know how to get around.
For sure.
I needed to use Google Maps to show me my way. In the same way, God, who's far more maximally perfect in his intellect, right? He has given us guidance. Now the challenge is everybody makes the claim that they have the right guidance. Like if you meet Hindus, they say, well, we believe in Vedas. We have the true guidance. And Christians meet them, well, the Bible is the truth. And what the Quran, Muslims say is the truth. The Jewish people say the Old Testament is the truth. The Christians are lost, right? So everybody's making a claim.
So what's the Arabic word for water?
Water is ma.
If I say water and you say ma, who's right?
Agree, but you're explaining an item, right? You can explain it in different language, but we're not talking about.
We're referring to the same truth here. We're just using a different language.
Agree. I'm understanding your point, but here's my point. Whether you say ma, whether you say water, but if you drink it, it will give you nourishment. It's the end result we're looking for.
It's the same thing.
Exactly, right? So what we're saying is, one person is saying you can use water to, clean your face, and the other one is saying that you can use water to. It's a really bad analogy because it doesn't work. Because we're not talking apples to apples here. Water is not reflecting of knowledge, of guidance. We're talking about guidance here. Guidance is what is right and what is wrong. Water isn't right or wrong. Water is either you drink water or you don't drink water, right? So what not drinking water is wrong, like can kill you eventually over the time, and drinking water can save your life. So it's about right and wrong. What decides what is right and wrong? That's the main point. Do you get my point? So some people will say, look, if you worship a cow, this is a good thing. Someone can say worshiping a deity that's outside of time, like we as Muslims are saying, who created everything, and he tells us what is right and wrong, this is a good thing. Someone can say, for example, if you see my wife here behind you and my daughter here, she's wearing a hijab.
Are you a father?
Yes, I'm a father, yeah.
How many children do you have?
I have 3.
Would you talk to all of them or just one?
No, I would talk to all of them, but each one of them are different. They're not the same.
Exactly.
Right?
So you would treat them differently.
Agree. I would
in a language that they can understand and they feel loved. Correct?
Agree, but right and wrong, I would teach them exactly the same. Like killing would be wrong for all 3 of them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Stealing would be wrong for all of them. So we go back to, again, it's not about talking to 3 kids. It's about talking what is right and what is wrong.
So if we look at different spiritual traditions, such as Taoism, the Tao which can be named is not the Tao. Isn't that not pointing to the same truth?
Yeah, but so the thing is, what makes that truth truth? If I say to you, downtown Sudbury, there's a huge, massive fire. That's a truth claim that I'm making. But is that really truthful? How do we investigate that truth? I say, listen, go pick up your phone and look on the news, and you'll see not that there is a fire in Sudbury. I'm just making an example. You look at the phone and say, oh, look, yeah, you're right. It's on the news. Sudbury's on fire, for example. I know it's an extreme example. Of course, we don't want Sudbury to be on fire. But the point I'm trying to get is then I say to you, you know what? Better yet, let's go drive down to Sudbury, see if we can help these people. We get down to Sudbury and we see there's a fire. You see, so now we're getting a first-hand account. So when someone makes a claim, this is true and this is true, how do we know truths are truthful?
Are those conflicting truths saying that the Tao cannot be named and Allah is beyond conception? Aren't we saying the same thing but with different language?
Listen, it's not about saying the names. It's about understanding what
the same concept.
No, that's what it's not. Because
how is it not?
I'll tell you why.
Yes, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm going to explain. Yeah, that's what I'm explaining. So in Islam, we believe that we're here to worship God. Mm-hmm. In other tradition, it's not about worshiping God. It's about being a good guy. Islam is not here just to be a good guy. being a good person is a byproduct of worshiping God. Like,
agree.
okay? So, for example, Hinduism, it's like, okay, let's do some spirituality. On Taoism, do some spirituality. You can do spirituality all day long, but are you thankful to the one who gave you life? And in Islam, thankful to God is to obeying his instructions. And he decides what's right and wrong. And he's saying...
So, for example, Sikhism.
Yeah.
They use seva, which is universal compassion and
Yeah.
love.
So where does Sikhism came
I
from?
believe one of the roots was Islam.
Yes.
The roots are Islam and Hinduism, both.
Islam and Hindu. Yes, exactly.
He
So
pointed to a God that transcended religion.
good. So now I'm going to ask you a question. If the root of Sikhism and Sikhism is Islam, yes? If the root of it is Islam, why not go to the root? Why go to the branches?
Because think of a tree with different fruit.
Agree.
Eat all the fruit from the same tree.
Yeah, I understand. But we're trying to figure out the foundation of why we're here. What's the purpose of life? What happens to us when we die? Where do we go? You understand? We're not just
the purpose right here, my friend.
I know, you can hug me, you can be a nice guy. I get it.
That's the purpose.
I get it. But let me ask you a question. I can be really nice to you, but you're still gonna die. I'm still gonna die.
Yeah.
So what if the one who created us says this is not the purpose?
Even if human.
Do you understand my point? Because that's subjective, right? We need an objective reason what is right and wrong. What is the purpose? You understand? Subjectively, of course, being nice to one another is a good thing. But nice is subjective to the person. Like, for example, someone can say, I want to come and kill all the indigenous people.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, but that was good. But that was good for them. But that was good for them. They decided that killing all the indigenous people and taking over their land was beneficial to their race. You understand? To them, that was good. You see what I'm saying?
But subjectively
So
wrong.
that's subjectively wrong. So we need an objective truth. In Islam, following the Creator, standing up for justice, speaking the truth.
But you don't think other spiritual traditions have these same truths?
No, because
None of them?
no, listen. If there's elements of truth, like for example, don't lie, and don't lie is in Hinduism, and don't lie is in Sikhism. Let's say the three of them have the same belief. But one of them says, don't worry about what God has to say, you do whatever you want, right? And the other one says, well, you know, there's a conflicting, like for example, for us to be something to be truthful, it has to be consistent internally and externally. You understand? If it's God's message, then that message shouldn't be, first of all, from a human attribute, from a human understanding. And if we see that message, we look inside, let's say the Vedas, right? I was reading the Vedas. Have you read the Vedas?
Yes.
So when I read the Vedas,
I've read many things.
so when I read the Vedas, I found out that every chapter of the Vedas or every paragraph of the Vedas contradicts another part of the Vedas.
Have you read the Upanishads?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
You don't see the God of love there?
Yeah, but you're not. I think we're missing the point. The point
But the Upanishads, for example.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you talk to more than one of your kids? Any kid who listens, any kid is seeking you. Would you talk to all of them, no? If you're a loving father, if you're a loving...
Yeah, but love is, I've just explained, love is subjective, right? Like, for example, my wife, I try to give her red roses one day because I love her.
Very cool, that's nice.
Right? Isn't that nice? Guess what I found out? Guess what I found out?
Like roses?
She hates roses.
Oh, bummer. That's
You
not a
understand?
bummer. You tried, man. I respect that you tried, though.
To me, roses were great. You understand? And that becomes subjective.
Yes.
So we still need an objective truth. What I'm trying to explain is, we believe that the Creator can make the objective truth of what is right and wrong, not based on human interact. When you look at all these books, for example, the Vedas or the Guru Granth, when we ask them where did they come from, they all are either man-made or they have contradictions in it. The Quran makes a claim that this is not a human work. It's not the work of Prophet Muhammad. He sat in a cave and wrote it up with his buddies. You understand? That makes a claim that this book is inimitable. It cannot be reproduced. It has no contradiction in it. It has been preserved for the last 1400 years. It doesn't contradict the natural established laws of the universe, how things operate. You understand? When we look at, for example, the Vedas, or we look at the Guru Granth, or we find contradictions in it, we see that it makes contradictions. Like, for example, it says there's a person being Hanuman, right? Hanuman is a monkey that flies in the space. We don't find monkeys flying in the space. So it's a contradiction external. It makes a claim that God is a man and a woman. We don't find gods as men and women. Do you get my point?
Transcends gender, for sure.
Yeah, so we're saying in Islam, God is not a man, he's not a woman, he's not a tree.
Read the Upanishads, and it's for me, it's very clear it's a God of love, and I don't see anything to disagree with in there. You know, it's
Yeah, but there's nothing to agree with it either. If it does nothing to disagree, there's nothing to agree with as well, because it doesn't agree itself. Sometimes God becomes a man.
To you.
Yeah, sure.
Wouldn't God speak to all who listen? If God is love and God wants to make his message heard, wouldn't God speak to anybody who's willing to listen?
No, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an example. I mean, let me explain. God wants people to worship him.
Yeah.
Okay. But the one that want to worship him...
But does God speak to you?
No, I'm going to explain.
I'm just asking.
I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to explain to you.
I think
Look,
God speaks to all who are
agree,
willing to
but
listen.
listen, one second. We use our common sense and our rationale to do everything in our life. When you drive, you don't drive blindfold. You open your eyes and you use the steering wheel. When you want to buy a house, you do an investigation on a neighborhood. When you want to go to a school, you look into, is this the right school? In the same way, when we believe in God, we don't just blindly follow anyone tells us this is from God. You understand? We investigate.
Yeah.
So when we investigate, we find that all of these books and messages are man-made. They have contradictions in it. It's not preserved. There's nothing miraculous about these messages.
But God doesn't even need a book to speak to you.
No, he doesn't.
Speak into your heart.
No, I understand. But that's subjective, because someone can say, I lived in New York City, by the way. There's a man in New York City who said, God spoke to me to kill 20 people.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So how do we know when God speaks to you and how he doesn't know? You understand? So this is, it's not just because God speaks to me, I feel that God speaks to me, and then I can go around murdering people.
No, obviously not.
So this is why...
I agree with you on that.
Good. So this is why we go back to when we need guidance. And that guidance cannot be man-made. If it's man-made, then it's subjective. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we need something that's outside of the human understanding to what God wants. And this message can only come from God. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're making a claim the Quran is not a book of a human being. It's not a book of Muhammad. It's not a book of his disciples. This book makes a challenge for mankind. It says if this book was written anyone other than God, you will find contradictions in it. It says if you believe that this is not from your creator, then even produce one chapter like the Quran. The Quran has been preserved in its original language, in the Arabic language, for the last 1400 years. It's been translated to any languages you want. But the Quran itself is in the original language, never been changed, never been modified. Like every other book has been changed, modified, added, deleted, based on human concepts. This has never been changed, never been modified. And it makes a claim for the mankind. If this book is not from God, then produce something like it. And no human being has been able to come up with like a Quran. Then it says, okay, come with 10 chapters. And nobody's been able to come up with 10 chapters like Quran. Then the Quran makes a challenge that this book, you can't even come with one chapter like the Quran. Do you know how small is the smallest chapter of the Quran?
I haven't read the full thing. I read small sections of it.
Yeah, but you know how small is the smallest chapters of the Quran? It's 3 lines. It's 10 words. Human beings, they have all of the knowledge of the Arabic language. They have the Quran. They have the preservation of the Quran. They have the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. Everything to reproduce a Quran or something even similar to it, we have all the tools. Like if I tell China, make me a phone like this, they have the technology, they have the know-how. But if I send them and say, this is a God's made phone, produce something like it, and if they cannot produce something exactly or even similar to or even close to it, then this is not from God. In the same way, the Quran is making that challenge. Come up with something like the Quran if you think this is a man-made work.
I guess this is where I'll respectfully disagree with
Yeah.
you. I believe that a lot of the books are similar to that, just using different language. You don't have to agree with me.
No,
That's just my perspective.
and I don't have to agree or disagree with you, because I'm trying to tell you, if there is no message, because look, human beings are not robots.
No,
Yes?
agreed. For me, the message is God is love and compassion.
Yeah,
That's
because you know why?
Down just to
I'll
that.
tell you why.
Worshiping God makes you a more loving and compassionate person.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then you're not worshiping the correct God.
I agree. So this is why I'm going to explain to you. Look, let me ask you a question. Go about a tea, tasting tea, the Chinese tea.
Go for tea.
I'll be a better example. When you go to have Chinese tea, when you have tea, and they say, now I want you to experience a new flavor, they say to wash out your palate and then empty out your cup, wash out your palate, clean your cup, and pour another flavor so you can taste the next tea. You understand? The reason why I brought this up, because your cup has already been full or it's been added into. The challenge is the reason why you believe God is loving is because your ancestors have come from the worldview of Jesus loves you, He's the Prince of Peace, He died for your sin, and love trumps everything. In Islam, we believe God is loving, Al-Wadud, He's maximally perfect in all of His names and His attributes. One of His attributes is the loving. However, He is the punisher as well, and He is the forgiver as well. He's the just one as well, and He's maximally perfect in these. So we don't just stick to love. We take the tradition of Islam in a holistic way.
Well, for sure, I think it's beyond that as well, but I think that's one of the core attributes.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that life is not just about loving, because like my son, I love my son, my son Hamza, I love my son.
Very nice.
However, sometimes my son is very disrespectful to me, right? The day he's disrespectful to me, even though I love him, I don't punish him. Why don't I punish him?
Well, you could do it compassionately, right? Punishment
Right.
doesn't need to be compassionate.
Exactly.
It needs to be a compassionate punishment. You don't need to yell or raise your
Good.
voice. Or...
So that's what God is saying. If you look at the Quran, every chapter starts with Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. You know what that means? The most merciful and the most compassionate. Because God's mercy and compassion supersedes His love. Not that He doesn't love you, but He says, the reason I don't destroy your legs because you don't worship me is because I'm merciful to you. He's merciful to everything. He takes care of the water. He takes care of the planet. He takes care of the birds. He takes care of the animals. You understand? He takes care of everything. That's because He has mercy. Okay? So He's saying that I'm merciful to my creation. It's not just about love. Do you get my point? So anyway, the point we're trying to make here, that this Creator has sent him a message. We believe that the Quran is from God. We believe that Prophet Muhammad is the last and the final messenger. We believe that Islam is the truth. Okay, this is Islamic worldview. The Quran says, if it's from God, it makes a claim that if this message, the Quran, today we have completed and perfected for you, means the word Muslim. Do you know what it means?
I do not actually.
The word Muslim comes from the root word salama. In the Arabic language, trilaterally, means peace. The word, linguistically.
That's nice.
So the linguistic meaning of the word means peace. Okay? But the one, how do you get peace? Like for example, I may give it to you in English. If I was driving a car, the action that I'm doing, you call me a driver, right? If I'm walking or I'm traveling, you call me a traveler. If I'm driving, I'm a driver. In the Arabic language, whenever you do the action of something, you add the letters mu. Like for example, if I call the adhan, it's call to prayer, you call the person who called the adhan muaddin. Muaddin. Okay? If you're traveling, the word traveling in Arabic is called safar. The one who does safar is called musafir. So in the same way, the one who does Islam, you call him a Muslim. Why? Because he's doing the actions of Islam. So what is the doing actions of Islam? Not lying, not cheating, not killing, not murdering, standing up for justice, speaking the truth, being merciful to people, living a balanced life. And that's really what Islam means, a Muslim. Do you understand my point? If you look at all of the other traditions that you talked about, for example...
Do you know the story of Francis of Assisi?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he's a bit of a wonderful, crazy man.
Okay.
In the height of the Crusades, he said, if I convert the Sultan, then this war stops. He's a little, like I said, crazy. Because how are you going to convert, right? So he went to the land and was imprisoned and beaten.
In the Muslim man?
Yes.
Okay.
But he said the Sultan allowed him to speak. Because when he went to go see the Sultan, everybody said, kill him. But he said, peace be with you to the Sultan. And he said, this man's wished me peace, so I want to listen to him, what he has to say. Like I said, he's a crazy man because he's trying to convert the Sultan. The Sultan doesn't convert, obviously. He's a little crazy. He says, I'll walk through fire. You want me to walk through fire for you? He's like, no, that's please don't. But they become friends.
Okay.
There's no conversion, but they're friends. And
Yeah.
the Sultan then sends him home with gifts.
Good. So let me ask you a question. Where's the
I
Sultan
like
now?
this story.
Where's the Sultan now?
Oh, I'd say paradise, probably.
And where's
Francis, I'd say paradise as well. I'd say their friends up there too.
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. Now
Yeah.
you said the Sultan is in paradise,
Yes.
and the monk is in paradise.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, but what makes that belief true?
I don't know. I just
So that's an assumption. That's an assumption.
It is an assumption.
Do you know the word assuming? My boss taught me this word.
But neither do you know, if you're honest. Neither of us
Well,
knows.
I do know. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I do know,
Sure,
but that's a
yeah.
secondary point. But first, let's go back to the word
But I want to
assumption.
conclude with that. We could be friends.
Yeah, we are
Respectfully
friends. We
disagree.
can respect. But here's what I'm trying to tell you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do you think that we created this universe for play, for a waste of time? Do you think that He will not bring you back to life? Do you think that all of this is just a joke? That's what God is asking you. God says that there will be a time that you will die and you will not be remembered. Okay? You're not going to be like that Sultan that someone will sit 500 years from now and talk your story. You will become worm buffet like me. We'll be in the ground. No one will remember us.
Part of being human.
That's right. So the reality is, we are here now. As much as happy and fun and when we're enjoying life, we're going to die.
Yeah.
And what we're saying right now, the claim we're making, at least look into what we're saying. If it's true, I guarantee you, if it's true. If it's wrong, then we're both lying. You're lying, I'm lying, or we're making up stuff, and it's assumption. It's an assume. You know, my boss told me when you assume, you know what it means? You make an ass out of you and me. So we're both making an ass out of each other. But here's the point.
I do that a lot.
But that's why I don't want to, you know, when my mother died,
Yeah.
my mother died.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. When my mother died, I said, I'm not going to assume. I'm not going to assume that there's a paradise. I'm not going to assume there's a hellfire. I'm not going to assume that Islam is true. I'm not going to assume Christianity is true. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to go down of Sudbury to make sure, is there really a fire or no? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything else we investigate, I'm going to investigate. So I went on a journey to actually learn Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and Sikhism. So I read the Guru Granth, I read the Vedas, I read the Bible. I have them copies of my home. I have them on my phone. Once I read and I looked into it and I found out why these couldn't be from God. They had contradictions. They weren't preserved. Nobody know who the authors are. We don't know if they're trustworthy. We don't know where these things come from. So if it's a message from God, then this message of God should be preserved, not just the words, the meaning, the understanding, and how did it get to me? Even that should be explained to me. Do you understand? So in Islam, we have not only the preservation, we know who the authors of the people that documented the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. How did it come to us? It's never been changed, never been modified.
Well, thank you for the conversation.
Yeah, no
Peace be
problem.
with you, brother.
Take it easy. So it's just, would you like to take some stuff home to read?
I'm good, thank you.
You're good?
I
Okay,
appreciate
no
it.
problem.
Yeah, I do read a lot. Like I said, Rumi Hafiz, the fruit of Islam feeds me.
Yeah, so let me ask you, if you go home and you think about what you're doing and what you're saying, because what we're trying to give people the warning as well. We're not just giving them good news. We're not just talking about love here. Mm-hmm. We're talking about that there is a punishment for the disbelievers. God says that what we're
Thank
saying...
you for your compassion.
Yeah. I mean, no, see, listen, look. If I tell my son, you're doing something wrong, you're going to be punished, that's me merciful to my son, by the way. Why? Because I don't want my son to get into
So I
trouble.
have a question for you.
Sure.
How does Islam address all the people who came before Muhammad?
What about it? So let me...
Paradise? How do you...
Excellent.
What's the...
That's a very good
explanation
question.
there?
Thank you very much.
So my point is, God
Yeah,
is
no, I'm going to help you.
compassionate.
I'm going to help you understand. So you asked a very good question.
Yes.
So let me... So the challenge with a lot of non-Muslims, because they have learned Islam through either themselves or watch YouTube videos or read books on their own, they don't really understand Islam. Like I explained, Islam...
Means, you said Muslim means peace, right?
No,
Peaceful.
I said the root word linguistically means,
Gotcha.
not from the Sharia perspective. You know what Sharia means?
No.
The laws of Islam does not say that the word Islam is peace or Muslim. Muslim means someone who submits his will to the Creator. Okay? That means someone who has a relationship with God and he follows the God's instruction. He doesn't lie, he doesn't cheat, he doesn't kill, he worships God alone. He doesn't make any partners with God.
I feel like those who came before Muhammad...
I'm going to help you understand. Let me finish it.
Okay, I'll let you...
So the word Muslim is someone who submits his will to God, as I'm explaining, yeah? Mm-hmm. And we believe that every human being, whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, submits his will to God. Mean, if you don't like this planet Earth or the universe, you can't leave it. You have to stay here. You have to be here. You have to go through pain and suffering. You're going to lose your job. Someone's going to die in your family. You're going to get sick. So you have submitted, whether you like it or you don't like it. Whether you believe in Islam or not, you already have submitted. In the same way, we believe all the prophets that came before Muhammad were all Muslims. They all had submitted. But their teachings were for those people in those times. So Adam, peace be upon him, was a Muslim. Abraham was a Muslim. Noah was a Muslim.
What about before them? Let's go even before.
Yeah, so before Adam, peace be upon him, there were no human beings. There were spiritual beings. Those spiritual beings were worshiping God. They were already submitting already. Do you understand? There was a time God said there was nothing and there was only God in the eternal past.
What about historically? Let's say
so history,
the world,
yeah.
And let's say Muslim is here. What about here?
I'm going to explain, yeah. So we believe that history is written by human beings. Yes? Yeah. God doesn't write history down.
Agreed.
Okay? So human beings write their own interpretation of the history. Like, for example, the European history is far different than the Muslim history. The Chinese history is a lot different than the European history. They have their own history, their own accounts. In China, when United States of America and many European countries were attacking China, they have a different understanding of what history is from what the Europeans understood. So everybody writes their own history. So the question is, what makes one person's history right over the other person's history? Do you understand? We say, as Elizabeth Fricka, she's a philosopher and she says, say so of others is a valid source of knowledge and epistemology, but who makes that claim must be a trustworthy source. So everything you know is based on someone else's knowledge. Do you understand? Like if somebody believes in evolution, they never went back to 1,000,000 years to see changing of kind from a speck of dust to an animal, right?
Yeah, even science.
Exactly.
Faith.
Exactly. It's a blind faith, but you have to take it. It's exactly. So in the same way, what saying is that even though that we rely on other people's testimony, but we check if the people that are making that claim are a trustworthy source or not. So what I'm trying to explain is, you said, but Islam is here, and what about all of this rest? We're saying that Islam says you don't just believe in something, you qualify it, you test it. It gives you challenges.
Just historically speaking, though, now we have the internet, now we have phones, now we have all these.
Sure.
But historically speaking, the knowledge would not have been here.
Why not?
That's my point, unless God spoke directly. But like, for example, the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
If Islam started in Mesopotamia, correct?
No. This is where I just explained to you. You see, you missed it again. Let me slow down and go back. This is why you have to listen and pay attention because
Please be patient.
Yeah, I know, I am. Yeah. So what happens is, bro, what's your name again? Matt, right? Matt Ali. What happens is we have this inner voice. That inner voice is talking to us when someone is speaking and saying, no, don't listen to him. He's lying to you. He's making this stuff up. He wants to prove his point. We're not here to convert anyone, by the way. That's not our goal. We're not Christians. We don't want you to be saved by Jesus Christ and go to paradise. We don't care. We don't send you to hell or paradise. This is between you and your maker. Our job is to tell you what Islam is. Your job is to accept or refuse. And that's your choice. What I'm trying to say, we believe that the Quran is not a man-made book. No human being can produce something like that.
I agree with you.
Okay, good. Now,
I think there's more than one. That's my perspective.
Yeah, but your perspective has to be grounded on some kind of evidence.
It is.
On what? On your intuition, which is wrong. Could be wrong, could be right. You see, but we don't believe on how we feel.
Read the Upanishads and tell me that's not a divinely inspired book. It's such a beautiful book filled with love, talking about Creator and God is here. It says the same truths as
but
Islam.
See, look. Let me.
What it also has stories of incest.
Killing and incest.
Yeah.
What about, for example,
knowing who his son is, and that's why he cut his head off.
And then you have the women.
But some of them.
Yeah, but there's a woman that has to kill herself when the husband dies. Do you know that's part of their tradition? Do you
Maybe
know?
that's a different text.
No.
It's part of the Vedas.
Vedas, part of the Vedas. Yeah, but that's the original scripture. The rest are human beings that write off that.
I'm talking about just the Upanishads.
Yeah, I understand. But you're talking about, so look, we have a Quran, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have books of hadith. You understand? The books of hadith are based on what the Quran is teaching from the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. So human beings are writing the hadith. We don't believe hadith is from God. We believe hadiths are, if they are authenticated from the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, then they're from God. Do you understand my point? In the same way, when you look at these books, the Vedas, they're making a claim are from God. And all these other books are written by human beings. Do you understand my point? So in those books, what I'm trying to say, when a husband dies in the Hindu books, when a husband dies, throughout history, the woman has to bury herself burnt,
Yeah, of
killed.
course not. Yeah.
And this is, God wouldn't teach us something
No,
immoral
for
like
sure,
that.
For sure.
So it teaches you love, and then here it tells you to kill yourself. No God should tell you to kill yourself. You understand? Life is too precious.
For sure.
So you see what I'm saying? So this is where the contradictions come into play. And you find that in everything. Even in the Bible, it says, take your son in the middle of the forest and kill him if he's disobedient. Well, Jesus isn't that loving if he's telling you to take your son in the forest and kill him. Because Islam will never teach you that, right?
Is Jesus not one of the prophets?
وأشهد أن محمدا